Are William and Catherine repeating Harry and Meghan's terrible mistakes? Most importantly, Wales doesn't make money. A source has reported that William, the Prince of Wales, has shown up in a surprise YouTube video, but his attempt at social media influencing is really not a good look. But if you ask me, as long as he's doing it for the right reasons instead of to make money, then I think that he's going to be successful. I want to know how you all feel about this issue too, so let's go ahead and start talking about it. If you go back through the centuries, history has been filled with moments when the British monarchy looked like a pretty shaky proposition. I mean, sometimes there were kings who seemed like they were more interested in contracting new and exciting VDs than actually ruling. There were kings and queens who seemed unnaturally obsessed with showing the French what's up. And let's remember that one time in 1969 when the late queen decided to make the world's first royal reality TV show. Of course, it was supposed to be a documentary, but I think what's important to remember is that seeing the defender of the faith whisk some salad dressing in a Tupperware container was certainly not something that we expected to see. Basically, since forever, monarchs have been guilty of sometimes pulling some pretty self-indulgent moves. And it looks like Prince William is no different. True, he's probably decades away from the throne, but that sure didn't stop him from engaging in the kind of ego-stroking outing that monarchs are famous for. On Sunday night, William and Catherine's social media accounts went into overdrive, promoting his latest outing in support of Earthshot, his £50 million 10-year push to try and avoid a climate crisis. I don't think there's anybody out there who wants Clarence House to become waterfront property after all. So what exactly was in this video? Did we see William petitioning the House of Commons or the UN or somebody with a lot of money to please step in and stop the world from melting? Did we see William use his global stardom to get meetings with the powerful types who could actually get rid of coal in less time than it takes to eat a scone? Well, that would have been nice, but instead, we saw the Prince of Wales appearing on the very popular Sorted Food YouTube channel for something that looks very much like a bit of vainglorious publicity seeking. So there is a little bit of backstory here. In May, Earthshot officially partnered with YouTube. They were promising to spotlight our finalists and inspire optimism. And this 15-minute outing is apparently the debut offering. But don't even bother watching it. So William shows up with some ingredients, packaging, and a special stove created by Earthshot Prize winners. The Sorted Boys make veggie burgers using these products, and then they and the Prince set up a burger truck where cameras record every gasp and smile from customers who were shocked by the identity of the guy who was slinging the burgers. My goodness, well, when I was watching the video, I couldn't help but be reminded by a couple of people who I didn't want to be reminded of, Harry and Meghan, because it was very self-promotional and it was very light on the dignity. Let's remember how Harry asked to use a stranger's bathroom during a late-night TV segment, and Meghan filmed her 40x40 video announcement in 2021, an initiative that disappeared without a trace. Now, the problem with William's sorted video outing is that it really represents something that's not good about social media. I mean, he managed to use I 10 times in the first 2 minutes, and it's a segment that also involves 3 other people trying to talk. Just to be clear, William's Earthshot Prize is amazing stuff, and it is exactly the kind of very innovative, big-picture, deep-pocketed initiative that the royal family has proven to be pretty good at getting off the ground. I mean, let's remember the underappreciated Prince's Trust. It is also impressive. And the products featured in the video are also great. Ingredients from an Indian startup that has created a greenhouse in a box, which were cooked on a cleaner burning portable stove created in Kenya, and then served in natural takeaway containers made using seaweed and plant extracts. It's exactly this kind of ingenuity, creativity, and bravery that's going to help people save the planet. But while the video does highlight the innovation of these 3 companies, it seems like it really wants to promote William and frame him as if William himself is heading up to the Arctic to try to rebuild some ice floes for those poor polar bears who are quickly losing their homes. Now, we probably could overlook William selling himself in this situation so enthusiastically if this was a one-off, but the problem is it's not. It's far from it. The fact is, over the last few months, we have seen a lot of Wales promotional videos and social media outings. I mean, it looks like we might be coming close to the tipping point. King Charles's coronation resulted in the Wales couple putting out more high-def, high-gloss footage than a Netflix production with a bottomless budget. In the last few months, we've also had Catherine done up and playing the piano for a surprise appearance during Eurovision. We've had Catherine going to play tennis with Roger Federer, and then William meeting a man saved by East Anglia Air Ambulance where he used to work, which reminded me of some type of reunion special. And then in July, William went to visit an ancient woodland in Dartmoor to announce that he was going to double the size of the temperate rainforest, and that resulted in a video that looked like William's audition tape to try to replace Sir David Attenborough on the television. And I hate to say this, it pains me to say it, but it looks to me like William and Catherine are getting dangerously close to Sussex territory. I'm worried that they're starting to focus too much on crowd-pleasing tricks instead of real work. And this is not even their first Surprise It's Us video. They participated in a National Health Service charity tea. They were trying to ice some cakes and trying to charm some pensioners. For a long time now, William and Catherine have been the champions of a better way of doing royal work, with less ribbon cutting and tree planting, and more ambitious projects that are aimed at making the UK and the entire world better places. Now, yes, we have got to applaud them for that. But where things start to go off a little bit for me is when I think about that the Waleses seem to be trying to sell themselves to the masses with very little subtlety. I just worry that they are spending too much time focusing on social media and trying to curry favor, and soon enough they might reach a tipping point. Their increasingly obvious appetite for self-aggrandizement is not very appetizing at all to the rest of us. William and Catherine are trying so hard to not be seen as stuffy and uptight. I understand they are trying to sell the idea of the monarchy to the younger generation, but at some point it is too much. I mean, they're almost reminding me of American presidential hopefuls. William has been doing too much to try to portray himself as just one of the guys. For example, he shared a curry and a pint while appearing on British footballer Peter Crouch's podcast, and then Catherine has done her part to transform herself into just another normal mom. Last week, Susie Menkes, who used to be with Vogue, took a little bit of a shot at Catherine, saying she was a bit of a disappointment about jewelry. She gives the impression that she only puts it on when she absolutely has to. Of course, it's impossible to know whether or not Catherine loves getting some priceless jewels out of the vault to wear while she's making some pie, or if she doesn't have any interest in them. But still, I believe that her fondness for high street and affordable jewelry fits in the same populist mold as this video push as well. Last year, she wore a reworked Alexander McQueen gown and some $34 Zara earrings to the BAFTAs, and in doing so, I'm sure that she realized how much good publicity she was going to get for herself with this high-low pairing. And then she wore those $195 Cezanne beaded earrings that looked like something a yoga teacher would wear. She also wore a $193 pair from the same brand during the royal family's annual Christmas church outing. So maybe it's just that Catherine really likes these pieces, or maybe she's choosing them with one eye on the positive coverage that they're automatically going to trigger for her. Maybe it's both. Now, if the prince and princess keep going down this path, they're probably going to start putting people off of them, and that's what I worry about here. If, as an institution, the monarchy really is as relevant and useful as the king and the Waleses want us to believe, then the actual work should be able to speak for itself. For example, William says that he wants to put an end to homelessness. Well, all right, William, that sounds good to me. Please, go ahead and do it. Now, I understand, a little bit of puffery is expected, but the results are what ultimately matter. It's not about likes or views or comments. In 2019, the Royal Foundation, which at that time included Meghan and Harry, put $5.8 million into helping start a text message mental health service called Shout. And then last year, Shout supported 260,000 people in the UK who were seeking mental health support, and they had 670,000 conversations. So the point I'm trying to make here is that William and Catherine really are doing so much good, but they need to hit the brakes when it comes to all this self-glorifying nonsense. Now, a good rule of thumb is this: in any situation, they maybe should ask themselves what Harry and Meghan would do, and then they need to make sure to do the opposite.